My kids love One Piece. They're 6 and they're 9, about to be 7 and 10. But they absolutely love One Piece, and arguably the age is probably a little bit too. The subject matter is a little bit older than they are, but they get it, they love it, and as I've watched it with them, it really represents a lot of core things that most Western comics should have. It draws people in very easily. It has, well, I'm going to get into it, but why is One Piece popular? What is it doing right, and what can Western comics take from it to help themselves? Hey everybody, this is Perch. If you're unfamiliar with One Piece, it's a manga series really popularized in Shonen Jump and arguably kind of the most famous. There's different depending on how you look at it, but it's made a ton of money. Illustrated, created by a man named Ishiro Ota, and really a long running series. This strip, in many cases, has close to the same level of brand recognition, certainly in that part of the world, stronger brand recognition than things like Mickey Mouse and others. And it's been running for over 20 years. 97 is when it first kind of started. It's had many volumes. It's been some of the highest selling works of all time. And it's definitely has a media franchise. There's a cartoon, an anime version of it, and I mean, it won immense awards, and it's a success story. One Piece. If you've never heard of it, it's interesting to go check out. And what's interesting about it is, in many cases, this series sets a template for how to draw in new viewers, new readers, new fans, how to maintain them over time, how to age with the audience, and how to have the right balance of something that's very continuity deep and very rich, but also accessible. Can attract lots of different age groups. It's what a lot of Western comics really want to have for themselves, but they struggle with it. One Piece, to give you a little background, this is again my crazy perspective. There will be some people who find this video who are big One Piece fans who are either think I'm going way too simplistic or touching on the wrong things, and that's okay. One of the big strengths One Piece has, and I think a lot of manga series in general have, is they kind of adapt to you, meaning you as the reader, as the person consuming the product, can take different things out of it. There's definitely fandoms, huge One Piece fandom. Nobody's calling them toxic fans, at least in Japan. It's weird because I did see an article around the toxic One Piece fandom in the U.S. and the reaction or the response in Japan was, I don't know what that means. Are they buying the book? Cool. Don't really care beyond that. don't need a label. But at any rate, it is a lot of things to a lot of different people. So, at its heart, One Piece is an adventure journey. It's about a man, a boy, who kind of comes of age through the comic. I think he's starting probably around 16 or so, and he has a dream. And his goal is a simple one. He wants to be king of the pirates, and to do that, he's got to go on a kind of epic quest to the Grand Line to find the One Piece. This is a treasure of sorts that the previous famous pirate had captured and hidden, and can proclaim that if you find this treasure, you'll become the king of the pirates, and thus became the pirate era or the pirate age. And so that's basically it's a boy who wants to be king of the pirates. And to complicate matters a little bit, is there's this thing called a devil fruit, and the devil fruit is basically if you eat it, it gives you powers. But unfortunately, it also takes away your ability to swim. So if you get in water, you drown. And it is so people can basically they can obtain godlike powers by eating this fruit, and they keep it once they've eaten it once. It's stuck with them for life. But in another sense, they're cursed because so much of the planet during this time is based on ships and piracy and other things. So that if you take away your ability to survive in water, you're almost mortally wounded. in this process. So you gain something and you get something taken away. There are lots of different devil fruits that give you lots of different powers, from pretty absurd things to like I don't know. You can cut off pieces of yourself and bring them back together. You can basically have electrical powers. You can have smoke powers. You can turn your body into smoke. You can turn yourself into an animal, or in some cases, like animals. Like one of the characters in the series is a reindeer, eats the kind of human fruit, and then becomes kind of this human reindeer kind of hybrid with a bunch of stages in between. And so there's just a lot of different ways this all can work. But fundamentally, and so during the course of this series, the boy who wants to be king of the pirates slowly assembles his crew, and his crew has radically different personalities, interests, kind of driving factors to themselves. Some are, kind of out for kind of honor, the classic almost Japanese samurai. Some are out for wealth and gold. They want to obtain riches. Some want to help people, like a doctor. Some just want to kind of find their bravery and find kind of their spirit. And it's a family book in the sense that this crew is a family that looks after each other, has different personalities. They bounce off. It's like any superhero team in many ways. Some have superpowers. Some have eaten the devil fruit, and some have not, and so they must rely on their wits and their skills and other things to kind of survive. Um, this series is at its core very, very simple. There's a simple goal, King of the Pirates, survive. There's adventure, go to all these amazing places on the planet and visit new people, see new things, create new dynamics of conflict. And generally, a lot of the conflict works out the same way. The boy, whose name is Luffy, he has his crew, the Straw Hat Pirates, and they go to a location, and there's some warlord or something that is mean there. And even though Luffy wants to be king of the pirates, he has a heart of gold. So, and he's not the smartest guy, so he kind of wears his heart on his sleeve. He sees an injustice. He wants to help it. There's some conflict usually where the villain they're going up against is way outmatches them, so they have to kind of through a combination of luck and skill and perseverance and good theme music overcome it and rescue the area, and maybe some of the people who initially saw them show up and were fearful because pirates are dangerous and do bad things are learn that Luffy's a good guy and support him in his journey, and he goes off and does it again and again and again. The series goes on forever. There's so many volumes. If you subscribe to Funimation, or you go to anywhere where you get the anime, I mean, you're like at 900 plus episodes, and you could be at it for a year, basically watching this show nonstop. So if you're in the Corona times and you're looking for something to binge, I mean, the value of right now of being able to binge kind of One Piece, it's like you hopefully the virus will be over by the time you're through. But it sticks to very simple principles. It knows its characters. The characters are not overly complicated. They realize through the series that there's plenty of backstory and things you can do. How these characters kind of got their powers or their families or other things. But at the same time, there's no need to do kind of shock gimmicks of saying you thought you knew this character, but you really didn't. It's just like peeling layers of an onion. It's still the same character. You're getting more aspects of depth, but because the personalities are written so strongly, it gives the writers, it gives the writer in this case, the ability to throw this character into different situations. The reader knows more or less how they're going to react to it, and it allows them to kind of play off different scenarios very, very easily. Luffy tends to charge in headstrong and not think before he acts, and that gets him into trouble. So that gives us a nice dynamic where then we can bring in somebody else from his crew who's maybe more methodical to get him out of trouble or to further complicate the situation. Lots of easy ways to do it. The storytelling potential is huge, and in reality, One Piece could go on for another 40, 50 years. It won't. The creator is going to kind of wrap it up at some point reasonably soon, but it is there's no feeling of kind of having to rush through the stories. It's there. You don't, when you watch this show, you may get tired of it, but it's not that the topics and the themes are stale, that it needs to be kind of rebooted or redone. It's timeless in that sense. The show focuses on basic human emotions and traits and conflicts and successes, and it does not get into the mess of trying to kind of touch on current events or any kind of thing that is going to date the show. You could watch the show 20 years from now; the themes are still going to play out just fine. The show also has some confidence in that it knows enough about its characters and it's built up enough dimension and depth to the characters that if they want to kind of go into exploring, say, Swordsman Zoro's personality, they can do that, or Sanji's desire as a chef to see the East Blue, or no, now I'm not messing it up. The place where the water connects, the True Blue. Maybe that's anyway. You've got different dynamics you can play into. The show also feels confident enough to do kind of sometimes gratuitous fan service, where Nami, who's the navigator, shows up at the beginning of the series looking, relatively kind of normal girl, and then during a time skip that the series does, suddenly she eats the I don't know what fruit she eats, but she gains like 20 cup sizes. And it's just you kind of, at that point, you're laughing at it because it's all just absurd, but it's an enjoyable absurd. But the key here is it's really easy to step into. So like I mentioned, I have a 6-year-old daughter who loves this show. She knows the characters. She can grasp it. She can enjoy it. At the same time, I have a friend from another state that I talked to, and I got him into the show, and he's in his 40s, and he loves it. It doesn't feel like he's getting talked down to as an adult. It doesn't feel like the kid is watching something that's too terribly out of their age range. It's designed for easy entry, and you can come into it at the beginning of an arc and actually get some enjoyment and have a good watching experience. It doesn't require that you have to go back and watch everything to catch up. You want to because you enjoy the characters so much, but it really is a template for how a good, compelling show and narrative can go. And when I look at Western comics, especially what they try and do with teams like the Avengers or the Justice League, there's huge amounts of things to learn here. In One Piece, you have clear motivations for all the characters. They all are very distinct. They don't all sound like they're the same person. This is one of the big problems that would happen during the Bendis era of the Avengers. Is a lot of these characters just all kind of became interchangeable. With One Piece, there's no chance of that. The characters are all extremely unique with different things that drive them, and because they're unique, it gives the writers the writer again in this case a massive storytelling potential. They can dip into any one of these characters' unique personalities and do 20 episodes, 20 issues on it, no problem, because they've got this complexity and depth. They don't have to create these weird, abnormal situations to put these guys in because the whole setting fits. So I think if you're a comic writer, an indie writer, there's worse things that you can do than to check out One Piece and just look at how it crafts a story, a world, characters, and just really sets a template for how to have a good ongoing plot that is easy entry, easy to go into. Ideas are tough, but the structure and the mechanism that is used here is just really clever. So I'm a very big fan of the show. Kids love it. Grown up friends love it, and I think it really is a masterclass into how to really treat a franchise and a property, and you can learn a lot from it. But what do you think? Have you ever heard of One Piece? Do you like One Piece? Hate it? Disagree with my analysis? Please let me know in the comments below. Would love to hear your thoughts on all of it. Like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter or Facebook at Comic Perch, and thanks for listening.